This is section 19, which is the last section where we will be talking about important pre-importation considerations. This time around, power of attorney, POA as it's called. Upon deciding to work with a customs broker, it is required by USCBP that a power of attorney be in place with the broker. Before we go any further, you probably figured this out already. On the right-hand side, a scaled-down version of a power of attorney. We'll be showing a bigger one in just a bit. Second bullet, first discussed in our section on CHB definitions, a power of attorney is a legal instrument through which an importer of record authorizes a customs broker to act on its behalf in an agency capacity specific to the filing of entries and related CBP activities. If we as the importer want to work with a customs broker, we have to give them a power of attorney. There's no way around that. As a trade tip, the power of attorney is required to be in place with every broker that an importer works with. We talked about this in previous slides. We as an importer can work with one broker. We can work with 10 if we're so inclined. Probably not the best idea in the world, but we certainly can, as long as we have an updated power of attorney in place with each and every one of those 10 brokers. As we said, we'll be looking at a blown-up version of the POA in just 1 second, but requirements for a valid power of attorney include the following. State the type of business. Is it a partnership, a corporation, sole proprietorship, etc.? Provide the EIN, which we spoke of previously, the employer identification number, aka the IRS number. That has to go on there too. The full name and address of the entity giving power of attorney, the importer of record. Full name of the customs broker receiving power of attorney. And then the full name and title of the party signing the power of attorney. And that has to be an authorized party, a person that has the legal authority to enter into a power of attorney arrangement with a customs broker, company president, officer if it's a corporation, etc. Wrapping up our requirements for a valid POA, there's one more here. That's the duration of the power of attorney. Is it for 1 year? Is it for 2 years? And as we see parenthetically, if no duration is specified, the POA goes into perpetuity or until canceled in writing by the importer of record. There are some different rules for partnerships and such. We won't go too deep into that. But basically, the duration has to be stated, and if it isn't, it goes forever until the importer of record cancels in writing. As a trade tip, official details on powers of attorney can be found in 19 CFR 141.46. Needless to say, we'll be taking a look at that too. What we're looking at here is a sample power of attorney provided as Customs Form 5291. Importers don't have to use this exact format, but it has to be a legally recognizable format for a power of attorney. Customs is just providing this as CF 5291. The information all has to be there. It doesn't have to be in this particular exact layout. Starting with the importer IRS number on the upper left-hand corner, the explicit statement that this is a customs power of attorney. As we had spoken in previous sections, sometimes when people think about a power of attorney, it's turning over access to one's financial assets, to be able to write checks on someone's bank account, to be able to withdraw money from someone's bank account. That's not what this is. It is a customs power of attorney. That needs to be explicitly stated. Know all men by these presents that whoever the importer of record is, a corporation doing business under the laws of the state of wherever, at a particular address, is appointing the following persons, and that's where the name of the customs broker is put. The rest of the information, we won't read through that legalese. What it is saying is that this power of attorney allows the customs broker to act in an agency capacity on behalf of the importer of record. Has to be signed at the bottom, has to show the capacity of the person signing, what's their title, date, and witness. For every customs broker that an importer uses, a power of attorney has to be in place. Obviously, The more POAs that are out there, the more the administrative burden and the easier it is for things to get kind of lost or forgotten. This is a strategic decision that companies make regarding how many customs brokers to work with. The POA is just part of the administrative burden that goes along with that. We're not here to advocate for working with one broker versus working with 10. What we're saying is you have to pay attention to what's going on with these relationships, starting with the power of attorney. As we said previously, and we'll demonstrate again, every requirement, every regulation put out there by customs has regulatory backup, which is found somewhere in 19 CFR. In the case of powers of attorney, it's 19 CFR 141.46. We excerpted a little bit here to demonstrate the backup of that regulatory authority. On the left-hand side, found in subpart C, the title Powers of Attorney. But it's not a one-shot deal. There are a number of topics within subpart C that deal specifically with power of attorney. Let's run through a couple of them. General requirements and some definitions. The form for power of attorney. Alternative form for non-commercial shipment. Duration. Revocation. The specific regs to partnerships. We made reference to that earlier. 141.41, surety on customs bonds. Protests. On and on we go. These are the parts found for powers of attorney topics. On the right-hand side, we went to 141.46, which is entitled Power of Attorney Retained by Custom House Broker. Before transacting customs business in the name of his principal, a custom house broker is required to obtain a valid power of attorney to do so. He is not required, meaning the broker, to file the power of attorney with a port director. Custom house broker shall retain powers of attorney with their books and papers and make them available to representatives of the Department of Treasury as provided in subpart C of part 111 of this chapter. The regulatory authority behind the requirement that an importer have a power of attorney with a customs broker. 19 CFR 141.46. That's going to be it for section 19. Needless to say, we have section 20 coming up in just a bit. We'll start that as soon as you come back.